welcome to Insight. I'm David Matlin. Well, the state of Israel has some 7 million residents, over 20% of whom are Arabs and other minorities. These communities live side by side, yet in some cases they don't interact very much with each other. But reality in the hospital is different. Patients from all communities are treated by doctors and nurses whom themselves come from diverse backgrounds. We went to the emergency room of Naharyia hospital in the Galilee, a region with a strong mix of ethnic and religious communities. Well, those who work there put aside the cultural barriers between them and unite for one higher cause to give their patients the best medical care possible. Well, here's In the Galilee, Diversity at the Heart of the Hospital, a film by Marie-Françoise Lantieri for I-24 News.
We are in Naharyia, 10 kilometers from the Lebanese border, not far from Syria. Arab and Druze villages are adjacent to the kibbutz and smaller communities in the region. How are conflicts between communities or between some countries in the region felt in the hospital? Four people are going to help us find out. Dr. Masad Barhoum, he runs the hospital. He's the only Christian Arab in such a key position. He agreed to open up the emergency department of the hospital. We're greeted by 3 caregivers from different communities that live in the area. Noal Badr, a young Druze nurse. Ifat Ganon, a Jewish nurse. And Ari Eisenman, the Jewish doctor who heads the emergency department.
I have an emergency case now. I absolutely have to go to treat it. This is a young person, 19 years old, found unconscious in his bed in a state of clinical death. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. May I have the probe, please? Hello? He has dilated pupils. But there is a pulse, there is tension. We do our best. It's a young man, we must do all we can. Okay, bye. There's nothing we can say as to what the final condition will be. After 24 hours, there are ways to examine brain function to determine if it's brain death or coma.
A crucial emergency, the same is received by all the world's emergency services. But the Naharyia hospital has certain peculiarities.
We have 2 kinds of ambulance service. Ambulances from the Red Cross of Magen David Adom, the same as the Red Cross everywhere else. And another Arab ambulance service called Hayan, which serves Arab villages in the Galilee. They are all the same to us, they give the same services, they are geared to serve their own people.
This double ambulance system is a consequence of the great ethnic diversity of the region.
A lot. Number 21, okay? 21, they're bringing the bed.
The day shift takes over. In the cubicles, a parade of sick people from all backgrounds.
It's a diverse population. It means we must treat the person while taking into account both origin and situation. It's completely different because each culture sees things differently.
Come, see his X-ray.
Even when I'm saying hello to someone, a patient, I am already getting a little bit message if he can talk with me or not, if he's feeling comfortable or not. So we're trying to do the best that we can with what we have.
What? Dorita already screamed at me.
Generally, here, it takes only a second.
It will take just a second. I hope.
I'm okay, but there's someone who has to learn. I have already given.
Bravo!
I suffered in silence.
Take, for example, the case of a patient in the shock or trauma room. The amount of people who accompany the patient in serious condition, among Arab and Druze, there's a lot of people. For Jews, there are less. This is a problem. It creates a hostile environment. That's what I mean.
This lady is to go to cardiology. The one I told you about, who is 91 years old. What's her name? How are you? You're hurt somewhere? Well, look, the heart rhythm is normal. Look, I don't see the P wave.
There are cases where a religious man comes in, prays, practices all sorts of rituals. If it does not go against hospital and emergencies guidelines, it doesn't bother us. Instead, we help. We accompany this type of action, this process.
How are you doing? Well, better? You feel better?
Okay, what I wanted to tell you that sometimes we're getting ladies from Arab ladies, and they are very religious ladies, so we are not letting a man to do an EKG or to take blood samples because they are very close.
Your family name? Feel better. A blood test. You want something against the pain?
No.
No?
The doctors is Arab and no Arab is very, very good man. And he know how to speak, he know everything. All the doctors Arab speak in Hebrew. But if you have a sick man, Arab, you speak with Arab. In hospital, Arab and Christian and Jewish all together. I've been in the room with 3 Arabs. We've been like friends. We are sick, so we have to be friends.
When we enter the gate of this hospital, we cease to be Arabs, Jews, or whatever. We're only caregivers and wounded. We treat people. We are people to people. We give medicine to people. We don't talk politics. We have peace here. We have no problem, really. We practice peace every day.
They also treat militants from enemy countries. At the central office, the red phone that connects the hospital to army services rings. A seriously injured Syrian militant will reach the border and be transported by an army ambulance. We are not given the right to film it. He'll be admitted to the neurosurgery department. This service has received more than 400 Syrians in 6 months. Mahmoud is a 19-year-old militant. He's been hospitalized for several weeks. He was wounded in the head during a bombing raid and was shot several times in the limbs.
I was surprised. I didn't expect to come to this country to be treated. So yes, I was a little surprised. I was not afraid. I had no fear or anything like that. I knew nothing about you Israelis. I have no relationship with Israelis and I'm not very aware of what's going on here. But what I knew of Israel is that all residents are Jewish and that they occupy the country. It's a little after I got hurt that I discovered that there were also Arabs who lived here.
Did you ever think that you would one day have an Israeli friend?
No. No.
Not even with Ilana?
Who is Ilana?
Ilana, the nurse. Back in Syria, will you tell that you were treated in Israel?
When I get home, my family will ask me where I've been, and I'll tell them. Outside, I have no reason to say it. I will speak of this only with my family.
His roommate is an Israeli Arab. Mahmoud had time to confide in him, and they established a friendship.
He's a good person, but I sensed a bit of fear in him. This is a good home, but I think he's a bit scared. He's afraid. Yes, he's afraid. Because of what is happening at home, to go back and say that he was in contact with Israeli Arabs. There, it's a problem. This is a problem for them. I give him my phone number so he can call me from there, from Syria. If there's peace one day, I'll visit him there. Excellent. One can say the Jews are not good people. But here, they are the only people who helps everyone, here at home. Not in Egypt or Jordan, only here. Everyone comes here. They come here from Sudan, from Ethiopia, they come here from Syria.
Professor Jean Soustiel, head of the neurosurgery department, has treated many Syrians. Seriously injured, greatly traumatized, they profited from being heard and given specific medical and psychological care by his team.
I hope that those people who go back home will at least testify that we are not monsters. It's always good. In any case, me, I'm a doctor.
At 2
a.m., the operating room. If I had any questions to ask myself about the person I'm operating, that would prove that I shouldn't be in the operating room. I'm not in the right place. Every time we get to save someone, it is something gained.
Faithful to the Hippocratic Oath, doctors and nurses, Jewish, Druze, Arab, all bend with the same professional dedication at the bedside of every patient in the Naharyia hospital. Relationships seem to be rather calm.
Let's say the language brings us closer together, but we all get along very well. At least the emergency team doesn't feel this difference. We only meet outside the hospital at parties, meetings. It's nice with us.
4 years before I got married, both of them told me that I will never get married and no one will take me. Afman. Yeah.
She was what?
Lost case.
Yeah.
Against all the
expectations, she's got married.
Yeah. Even though we have a hard work, we are like a family. So every one of us. Yeah, of course. Best friends. Yeah, it's true. Every one of us.
For the camera, we are very best friends.
Later.
It wasn't easy for the employee or for everybody that understand that an Arab one, being a director of this hospital, it's not easy being a minority in any country, okay, in any country, not only in Israel, but you know, I'm in democracy. This democracy, it is expressed as being a director of this hospital, although I am a minority. I open doors for others in very high positions in the country.
Now we're joined in the studio by Marie. Thank you for being with us. Did you find anything with the Naharyia hospital? Was there an exception there with this situation?
No, on peut pas dire ça. C'est vrai que, au contraire.
No, you can't say that. On the contrary, it's true that the Naharyia hospital stands out for its great diversity, maybe the greatest in all Israel, both among the medical staff and the patients. But it's not an exception at all. During our investigation, we met the staff of different hospitals in Haifa, Jerusalem, Afula, and it was always the same story. The staff is mixed, the patients as well, and everything just goes well. There are some difficulties, though, with language, but they usually find a solution. As the administrator of Naharyya's hospital said, when we pass the hospital's gates, we are not Jews or Arabs anymore. We simply are doctors or patients. And it goes very far, confronting very stressful situations when a patient passes away and the issue of organ donation is brought up. Donations between communities are very frequent. The young man who appears at the beginning of the report unfortunately passed away. His family agreed to donate his kidneys to a young Druze and saved him. He was a young Jewish boy.
With so many different types of people working in this environment, did you find any sources of friction or dissonance between them?
It's a harmonic ambience, but sometimes we did notice some dissonance, I must admit. For example, when there is a promotion among the medical staff, if a Jew is promoted, the Arabs will feel discriminated against. If an Arab is promoted, the Jews will think it is affirmative action and vice versa. However, we've heard of an anecdote which shocked the hospital in Naharyia. A few weeks ago, a Syrian fighter was admitted there, and he was treated by an Arab nurse. When he asked her where is she from and she told him she was a Christian, he threatened her. He told her, "You must die. It is my duty to kill you." This story was really shocking. You can imagine the situation. A nurse threatened by the man she has to cure. This year, more than 700 Syrians were treated in Israel, and this was an exception.
Well, thank you very much for bringing us this story.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you for being with us here at Inside Magazine. I'm David Matlin. We'll see you again at the same time next week.